Now on Sunrise, a plane crash kills 3 people in Fairview. The aircraft slamming into a row of homes. Neighbors tell us how this all unfolded. Plus, you felt our high temperatures on Saturday. How local crews work to help those in need stay cool in the heat. Your news starts now. Good morning. Thanks for getting up with us as you start your Sunday. It's the first day of September. Devin Haskins alongside Daisy Caballero. We had a beautiful shot of the sun coming up.
I mean, I'm going to just step off the screen. Can we just appreciate this beautiful view? Nicer temperatures as well, though, compared to yesterday. So we're talking those upper 80s, if not low 90s. So a little bit more bearable, right? So let's take you out the door and give you another live look through our Wells Fargo sky cam. Saying hello to that sunshine there. The sun is officially up. It is 63 degrees last checkout at PDX. And looking at the rest of our current temperatures, again, pretty comfortable. Really not too much to complain about. 62 degrees over in Beaverton. Good morning. Hillsborough, 62, 60 degrees for folks over in Forest Grove. And stepping off the screen so you can actually see this. 60 degrees for Silverton and 61 degrees right now for the Salem area. So we can thank this ridge of high pressure that will continue to build at least for the next few hours or so, at least for the next 24 hours to be specific, because a new system will be moving on over, bringing us more of that cloud coverage and cooler temperatures as well. But for today, we're talking highs in the upper 80s for the Portland metro area, 87 degrees for Vancouver and 82 degrees for Longview. There's potential for us to see some light sprinkles in these next few hours, 24 hours. We'll give you that timeline coming up.
This morning, 3 people are now confirmed dead after a small plane crashed into a neighborhood in Fairview. The plane hit a power pole and townhomes, which caught on fire.
Next thing you know, this bush comes down and boom, explosion.
All aircraft calling Charles Delk ground. This is going to be a minute. I've just got an airplane crash.
That was the situation just before 10:30 Saturday morning, only a few miles from the Troutdale Airport. The FAA confirming 2 people were inside the twin-engine Cessna when it crashed.
At some point during the crash, it hit a power pole or tower, causing it to fall over. And so the power lines fell into a field of some sort and started a brush fire.
The fire knocked out power for 9,000 customers. Service has since been restored, but 5 families are out of their homes this morning. Along with the 3 deaths, 2 other people were treated by medics at the scene. Meanwhile, people living in the area were shocked at the unexpected tragedy in their neighborhood. Our Sydney Dorner was there and has more.
A loud boom.
Update on fire. We still have heavy fire coming through the roof, expanding to the next unit.
Disturbing people in a small neighborhood in northeast Fairview.
It was a pretty big impact.
One neighbor that was a fairly close neighbor said the explosion shook him out of his chair.
John Sampson was working on his way to his next job, never expecting to witness the minutes after a plane crash.
The wings were sideways and went into the condominiums.
Hitting power lines on the way down.
It was a pretty big power line, so they weren't sure if it was going down and hit the power lines or if the power lines caused the accident. But then it sheared one of the wings off.
Quickly starting a fire that spread through a row of homes.
When we got there, it was 1.5, and it was about 4 probably by the time they got it slowed down. But they had about every engine, I think, in Portland there.
When we arrived on scene, 2 people in the plane and 1 person in the home were still unaccounted for, worrying neighbors like Andrea Cox, who lives right behind where the crash erupted.
Very heart-wrenching that our neighbors, right now it's just wanting to make sure that all of our neighbors are made it out, all the animals are safe. It's a very tragic situation.
Sampson says you could feel the pain and shock of the neighborhood as they took the scene in.
There's a lot of people crying. A lot of the neighbors were just beside themselves. They had their hands over their face, and it's pretty sad.
You got fire in the garage below you.
It kind of makes it all real when you see the damage.
Now PGE will be assessing the damage as soon as they can safely get to their equipment. Back to you.
Turning back to our weather, fire officials are hoping everyone will do their part to prevent new fires from starting this weekend. There are 6 large fires still burning up in Washington. Statewide, more than 295,000 acres have been scorched in wildfires this year. Many of the larger fires we're seeing won't be contained until well into the fall. Warmer temperatures and winds are heightening fire danger, with a statewide burn ban already in place.
Fire season used to be about 100 days long. Fire season is now 365 days long, and that's the piece that we cannot ignore.
With holiday traffic this weekend, fire agencies are pleading with people to be safe on the road, especially in areas where fires are common. And due to the air conditions and excessive heat we're seeing, Multnomah County has issued a mandatory wood burning restriction. The burn ban went into effect Saturday and will last until things cool down a bit. Under the ban, recreational fires, agricultural burning, and backyard burning are not allowed. The county also encourages residents to report anyone violating the ban at the number right there you see on your screen. This is the first warm season wood burning ban in Multnomah County of 2024. In downtown Portland, folks with the Blanchet House were handing out bottled water and some food ahead of Saturday's heat wave. Executive Director Scott Kerman tells us they do everything they can to keep people they serve safe during these hot temperatures, many of which he says are seniors and have chronic health conditions. They handed out sack lunches that included a PB&J sandwich, fruit, and other snacks. Saturday was also International Overdose Awareness Day. The Blanchet House co-hosted an event with tent misters, ice cream, and other cooling tools to bring awareness.
I would love for us as a community to really come together and find a way that we can solve for the dangers of these heat events for people, whether they're housed or unhoused, who are really susceptible to these conditions.
If you'd like to help out the Blanchet House in their efforts, they are looking for more water bottles for the people that they serve. And as Kerman says, they haven't received as many donations ahead of this heat wave. You can stop by the Blanchet House and drop them off yourself. It's easy to forget where our power comes from. You flip on the switch and the light comes on. But our environmental reporter, Kel Williams, wanted to trace those power lines back to their source. So we got the chance to head out to the Bonneville Dam last week to see how the mighty Columbia powers a lot of our homes.
Everything at the Bonneville Dam is big. The dams themselves are more than half a mile wide, made up of nearly 2 million cubic yards of concrete. But the real magic, that happens inside the dam.
So this is Powerhouse 2. There are 8 large generators lined up here.
Meg Sleeper is a ranger with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. And she's showing us 8 of the 21 generators that send power all over the Portland metro area. The total capacity at Bonneville is more than 1,200 megawatts. Or, if you're a Back to the Future fan,
We have a capacity to produce 1.22 gigawatts, which is enough power to power one DeLorean through time.
that equates to roughly 900,000 homes. And all that power essentially comes from the Columbia's current, spinning giant turbines. Gates regulate how much water flows through the dam, and that water spins a massive propeller, which is attached to a shaft. The shaft is connected to a rotor, some 6 feet tall, 27 feet across.
The generators here spin at about 70 rotations per minute.
The rotors have magnets all along the rim that pass by copper coils, creating electricity.
Essentially, we need to have 60 magnets go past a copper coil every second.
And all of that happens with just concrete between the river and the generators. Hydropower is one of the reasons electricity in the Pacific Northwest is among the cheapest in the nation. It's also why we do so well with other kinds of renewable energy.
It enables the other renewable energy sources to be incorporated into the grid seamlessly.
That's Dan Patla, technical expert for hydraulic turbines with the Corps. Wind and solar are dependent on, well, the wind and the sun. But hydropower is consistent as long as the river is flowing. So it can fill in any gaps left when it's cloudy or winds are calm.
What we have is what I consider to be a renewable energy, making other renewable energies possible.
That was Kel Williams reporting. All those big generators make up a big chunk of the power we use here in Oregon. More than 40% of our electricity is hydropower.